Hello, this is another tough tell a friend video. So it really is tough, and I'm actually almost scared to start this video. Now the title is Different Cures for Our Different Brains. And the cures are to understand reality. Now, we always can question ourselves whether we want to understand reality, but I, for myself, say I want to understand reality because of this aspect of being a truth seeker. Now, I mention here different brains, and my normal brain model, which helps in most cases, sometimes you have to kind of add more brains to it, so is that you have the intellect, you have the limbic system, and you have the reptile brain. And I write it in red. The hierarchy of power is the reptile brain is the most powerful, which then, if he's okay, gives the power to the limbic system, and the limbic system then uses his slave, the intellect. So that is the hierarchy system. So now for the different cues for different brains means I want you to say, okay, what is the problem of the reptile brain? So problem of the reptile brain. And the problem is fear, is fear of unknown. And unknown things immediately trigger fear. And I want to draw that a little bit here. So if you take the brain of a human, I write it as a square, but probably it's not that accurate. So we can separate in kind of our brain has a map of the world, yeah? Map of world. And the world actually is this. That's actually it. But our brain has now just this small thing it knows. So it knows this, and this it separates into two parts. And one is the known part, and then the next is the unknown part. And the unknown part usually is much higher, much bigger, but obviously the reptile brain doesn't know. But whenever it encounters unknown, then fear starts. There's fear coming up. And so that means the cure for the reptile brain to not go into this fear mode, which is, flight or fight mode or freeze even mode, is, and so the solution is habits. And I think I would say a trust in God, whatever God is for you, a trust, a special trust. So kids develop that, and then maybe religion gives you that trust. And it's this inner trust. So that is, religion might be a little bit higher up here, but it also has some scopes here. If you have just this inner belief of nothing can go wrong. So that means it's trust. And it's habits. Habits means you just do the same things. You even if you hit the unknown, you have habits, and you just do that. So they actually solve the problem of this brain. Now the limbic system. What does the limbic system have as a problem? And that is it wants to help. Yeah, it help. So it wants to help. So that is the limbic system. So I want to help this guy. Oh, this is a poor guy. I want to help him. And the other thing may be greed. I want to be richer. I want to be socially higher than another person. I want to beat him, and competition. So greed, competition, and so on. And so now what is the solution to this? And the solution is, I think, from Mr. Adler, this feeling of being part of the community, and it's an adjustment maybe of your vision that you have, because in the limbic system you have your vision. What do I want to achieve? And here Adler actually says this thing that if you help, the community, and it's you define the help, and you define the community. Community can be from yourself only, in a yourself in a conversation, yourself in a group, yourself in the family, yourself in the community, in the space, so outer space, whatever, the universe, and so on. So I would say the limbic, so the cure for this limbic system is that you have a feel for the community. Yeah, I need to say I have to dig deeper into this here. But there are these things like for the limbic system, when you might also want to add Mr. Eckhart Tolle. No, Tolle. He's also one of these guys that actually, if you follow his advice, that your limbic system actually is quite calm and you're in a very good state. Now, what is the problem of the intellect? And the intellect has the problem of complexity. So it is, I do not understand. And now what is the solution to this? And it's very, very short what it is. So the solution is do tough videos for yourself. So if you have not understood a specific thing, then do a tough video about it. You notice, as I noticed here, for example, that I still have to look a little bit into this. So while you do a tough video, you actually try to understand the complexity of everything. And then you read books, you need to discuss with friends and so on. But the real, so what I wanted to say is the complexity is the problem here. The problem here is help and greed, and the problem here is fear. And there are different ways of actually solving these things. And now, if I go further in this, the intellect, sorry, one thing I wanted to say here, the habits, that the habits that helps you to actually maneuver in a known territory and even kind of not be too terribly feared by the unknown, are habits that you establish inside all of your brains, because it is the reptile brain says, okay, I'm calm, everything fine, I know this, and so it's a known, learned thing you have in here. Also in the limbic system, for example, if you say, I don't care about things I can't change, and so on, and I only concentrate on things I can change. That may be some habits you have in here. And then especially here in the intellect, there are lots of habits, which means that you know complexity. So that if you have a complex system, that you know, oh yeah, that behaves like the system I've learned, I don't know, some years ago, and yeah, that's kind of the same. So you have habits. That means you have, from the experience, you have established things that help you in specific unknown territories to say, oh yeah, that's similar to this, and you can immediately pull it into known territory, and that's actually very fine. And for the intellect, so for the reptile brain means no fear, but for the intellect means, oh great, I understood. And so when going now into the intellect, I always like to stress this 1-9-90 rule, which means these ones are the ones that fully understand, fully understand. And this can also be for partial problems. It's not, I fully understand everything and whatever there was, and there will be. It's for a specific topic. And then there are 9, and these 9%, they partially understand. So they grasp some things and some not. But I would say, so while these ones really go straight into the center and hit the target, these ones may be off. And here I say it's like the lottery. Yeah, because you don't exactly know. These ones kind of know. They are, studying things, they're analyzing things. But here, due to the complexity, they play the lottery, and it's a 50-50 game. So you would have 4.5. Well, that is in orders of magnitude. It can be also a little bit. So it would be 4.5% go for hitting the target, and 4.5% being way off. Yeah, so for these ones. Now the 90% here, they just, here it's also kind of lottery, but the thing is they follow a leader. So while these ones try to kind of follow facts, yeah, they read and so on. They say, oh, this is right and this is right. So these ones follow facts, while these ones follow a leader. And so this is much more prone to, so these ones would follow a book, and read that, while these ones follow a leader. And while this one person, he follows actually his brain. No? So, so they follow his brain, which I think a very easy to understand mechanism. Now the question is obviously, does he fully understand? Is that spot on, or is the solution here? So if you look at kind of this being right, this being wrong, and maybe the solution is here and this wasn't right. So we do not know. But I think it is his own brain, some books, and they try to make sense of the different thing, but combination of concentrating on facts to kind of find the solution, while these ones just follow a leader. And now the thing, in order to completely comprehend a problem and get your head around a problem, the important thing is that it's simple, so simple, small, enough, simple enough, and small enough to fully get your head around it. And that is why it is very, very good to have a form of abstraction where you say, this system which I have in my brain is giving me the right answers to, 90% of my questions, 99% of my questions. And that is the important thing. And I've done another video on that, what it means, at what level of granularity your model has to be. The world may be this, but my understanding of the model is maybe this, because I can only invest, 100 hours to understand this problem. Yeah, and then I come up with a system that allows me a mindset, a belief system that actually allows me to make predictions and give explanations to things around these systems that are accurate by 90 or 99%. And that's all you have to do, because to understand reality, what does that mean? Understanding 90%, 95, 99, but never, so I write this mathematical note, never 100%. So because, and it's also, if you're a truth seeker, and then you just found it, or here's the lottery win and you found it, then you're not a truth seeker anymore, you're no philosopher anymore, you stopped. And I do not believe that we can ever reach that because of the complexity of our environment, that means of the universe. Thank you very much for listening, and it was great for me to actually come up with this. I need to look a little bit more into the cure of the limbic system, because I think that is more difficult than to explain. Maybe do that in a separate video, because it goes much about your vision, the vision you give to your limbic system, and the vision actually says, where do I want to go, where do I want to go next, and so on. And so this may be a whole new thing to analyze for me. Thank you very much. Comments are most welcome. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.